as you saw in the title of this video, I finally had my first interview in my like 2-month, I'm gonna say like, I'll say 2-month job search, because the first district I applied to was in March, early March, and it's early May. So 2 months, I finally got an interview. I have the questions here that I remembered that they asked me. So hopefully this helps you in your job search. But I'll just discuss exactly how it went. So I applied for this district, and usually you apply through EdJoin, but this service was separate from EdJoin. I'm in California, so we primarily use EdJoin, I believe, in California. That's how I've always found jobs. But we used a different service, and on there I had to accept an interview, and they only had interviews today, which is Friday, so I snagged like the last 2 because there's only 2 options left. And I had my interview, and the interview was over Zoom. It was a 10-minute interview with 6 questions asked, and the interview started with an introduction, and I interviewed in front of maybe like 6 to 7 administrators, instructional coaches, people in the district, even, yeah, like principals, people in the district. Yeah, I think there was like 6 different people. They all introduced themselves, and like I waved to all of them. It was over Zoom. I'm glad it was over Zoom because it's only a 10-minute interview. Because like that would kind of suck to go drive 2 hours for a 10-minute interview. And I'm sure they did this 10-minute interview just to like kind of weed out the applicants, but they said there was a lot of positions. So all right, so the questions they asked going into the interview were, the first one, they asked me why I chose the district, and I'll just give you guys my answers briefly because I'm sure that's helpful to people. So they asked me why the district, and I just told them I applied to this district because I'm moving. Don't know where I'm moving to. It all depends on where I get hired, and I like the cost of living. I like the area. I had a friend that worked in a neighboring area, and I like the community over there. I like what I see on Zillow. I don't even want to think that my answers were bad because I think my interview went really well. I think they want me. And I'm not even being sarcastic. I think they want me. I feel like my answers were good. So, by the way, pause this video, take a look at my shirt. Good energy is contagious. Oh, yes it is. Okay, second question they asked me, I don't have the question word for word, I just have the main idea of the question. And that question was in regards to equity and what that means to me as a teacher. So I just talked about how each student is their own individual, and it's my job as the teacher to know what they need individually and not just give blanket judgments, blanket statements out to my kids. It's my job to know my students well enough, know their families well enough to know exactly what they need so they're successful in the classroom. So I said something along the lines of that. The next question they asked me was, how do I plan instruction and integrate technology? And I could probably talk about that question for 10 minutes, but I only had a 10-minute interview. So I just said how I form my groups is in my district, we do iReady, and we test them in the beginning of the year just to get, you know, their base knowledge, and that dictates the group. So based upon their scores on the iReady is how they're grouped. And I said like I like doing groups because I do. And then I just say like I give a whole group lesson. I see where the struggles are on my clipboard. I do, what is it called? Formative checks with the whiteboards. Show me this, show me this. I can tell. I didn't say pulling sticks, but I would have. 10 minutes is not enough. But I just talked about that, and then I said, you know, iReady's technology based, but if I were to redo this interview question, I would have spent more time on it because that's a really big loaded question. Like, that's super loaded. Because I mean, come on, we use technology all the time. Like, I taught online for a whole year, not by choice. So I would have spent more time on that question actually if I get asked that again. The next question was about parent communication and, you know, how I make sure I am communicating to parents. And I just talked about how in the beginning of the year, I send the parents a letter just asking them about their perspective on their student. And I also said in my interview that I give my personal cell phone number out to my parents because I just don't care. Like, I have never had a problem giving out my personal number. Worst that happens is I block them and tell my administrator. I don't know. That's just my honest answer. I've never had a problem with it. I know some teachers don't like to give their numbers out. I personally just don't care. Because my Class Dojo doesn't work on my phone. So, I actually just got a message from April 19th on Class Dojo with no notifications. So, very annoying. So yeah, and then I just say every single Friday I send home a behavior report just to let the parents know that they're in the loop. And I also said that I want to start, like, next school year calling the parents before the first day of school, having a Zoom meeting on before the first day of school just to meet them beforehand, depending on the district, because in my old district we had a back to school night before the first day of school. In my current district, we only had a back to school night 2 weeks, 3 weeks into the school year. I would prefer to do it before so my parents feel comfortable, so my kids feel comfortable, the students. So that's just what I talked about as well. The next question was social emotional lessons. Like, how do I integrate social emotional learning and behavior in the classroom? I just talked about how, like, teachers are role models. When I get stressed out, I practice breath work, and I talked about teaching my students how to name their emotions and self-regulate their emotions and calming themselves down through breath work or, you know, counting down to 10. And I just said I'm a role model and I display that in the class all the time. And I really focused on these incoming kids from, you know, COVID. I have 13 of them. I just really focus on their social needs coming back into the classroom, you know, taking our time, moving slow, being open and honest. And next time if I get this question or if I interview with them again, because I'm sure there's going to be a second round of interviews, I would go more in depth on that and just talk about how we set the tone in the classroom in the morning by practicing our gratitude lists, which is also, you could call it sharing good things if you're a CKH school district, which is Capturing Kids' Hearts School District. And then lastly, they asked me questions and anything I wanted them to know, and I just told them I prefer upper grade position, I prefer 5th grade, and it fits my personality really well. I really like the content, and I told them I'm really eager to get back into the classroom and I'm very excited to get working again. Like, I'm excited for next school year for some normalcy. So it lasted 10 minutes and we'll see how it goes. I think I did well. I mean, the only thing I think they wouldn't like is that I told them that I give parents my personal phone number, but I don't know why that's a bad thing. Jake, why is that a bad thing to give parents your phone number? Or how do you think about, what do you think about giving parents your personal phone number? How about this? If you were a parent and the teacher was like, hey, contact me, like, if anything's an emergency or let me know anything, like, here's my number, and you set strong boundaries around it, how would you feel? Or the teacher set strong boundaries, like, don't text me after 7. Okay, he said that the teacher cares. Does anything else come to mind? With okay. But my whole reasoning is, like, if you need me, just reach out, I'll help you. Like, I don't have a problem with parents having my number at all. I literally have zero problem. I don't know if, like, districts would think that's a no-no, but I don't know. My heart's in the right place, so I don't know. What do you guys think? You let me know. I know a lot of teachers probably are like, no, but I just don't care at this point in my life. I don't know. It's better than Dojo. That app needs an upgrade. The Dojo app needs an upgrade. It's just so much easier for me to do this. It's just easier. Well, you guys, they said next week they'll let me know on, like, what's gonna happen next. I wish I would have asked what kind of contract they were offering. Next time I will. I'm glad I did this interview because it's good practice. And I also would have asked what the next steps are, because I feel like they're gonna do a second interview. I think they should. And then I'll, like, elaborate more on what the heck I talk about. But I don't think 10 minutes is enough time to interview and hire someone. So I don't think I'm gonna get hired this next week. I think I'm going to be in another interview process. So another thing, going off of like sharing personal numbers with parents. I've had college professors share their personal numbers with me. Isn't that equivalent? Kinda? I don't, is it weird that I share my number? Is that a bad answer in an interview? No turning back now. I said what I said. They wrote down on their notes. What can I do? Okay, I'm asking someone else. Okay, if you had a kid and your kid's teacher said, here's my personal cell phone number, let me know if you need anything emergency, let me know, just don't message me after 7 p.m. What do you think about that?
So basically you said that you give your number out
to my parents, yeah.
How exactly did you say it? Like, what did you say exactly? Because there's so many different ways that could be like.
So I just said, personally, me, like, Class Dojo does not work on my phone very well, so I just give my parents my number. If they need me, they can reach me, but I tell them, I just set boundaries for it, and I've done that every year, and I have not had a problem with it at all. That's what I said.
I mean, if that was one of their things that you weren't allowed to do, they would tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, my team lead, she gives out her number too.
Oh, thank you. That's all I needed to know.
But she doesn't do it to all of her parents. I feel like your heart was in the right spot. Like,
yeah.
It's not like you were just like, because if you said like, I just don't care about anything, so why do I care about giving my number out?
Thank you. Yes, so thank you. I asked 3 different people. I surveyed. What do you think? If you were interviewing?
I was going to say your heart is in the right spot because Class Dojo doesn't work on your phone. You could have just used that excuse not to care, you know?
Yeah. Oh, true. Yeah.
Like,
I said Class Dojo does not work because it does not.
Like, oh, Class Dojo doesn't work?
Let me leave 0 options available. Okay, well, that's the only thing I would have maybe changed, but that was my honest answer, so I'm leaving it as that. All right, you guys, I hope this was helpful. I'm so happy that I finally got an interview. I'm predicting I'll be getting a lot more interviews coming up, so I'm excited. I still applied for 6 total districts, and I'm waiting for a couple more districts to open applications, and I'm gonna apply there as well. I just predict this is the time where they're gonna post open. Like, I think they know who's leaving, who's coming back, and who's retiring, and they're actively seeking. So I'm super excited. I'll let you guys know anything else, and I'll catch you guys in next week's video. If you have not subscribed to my podcast, link down below. It's really good stuff, really good information. Link down below. Peace.